Okay, Braden, we're going to do a chironomid here. This will be an olive chironomid with just a thread body. You can do all sorts of different things for bodies, but I'll just do a straight thread with a white bead on it. Of course, you could have different colored beads with a white gill, but just for starting, a white bead is kind of the easiest thing to do. You don't want your bead to be too big. This is a size 5/64, so you want them to be quite small. This is a size 12 hook in a caddis curved. It's just a mustad hook. Size 12 you might think is a little big for a chironomid, but because of the type of hook, it's actually a very short hook, so it doesn't end up that big, and they work quite well. So we'll start off by tying on. This is a quite simple. What we're going to use for ribbing is we're going to use a red wire, an extra small wire, see it says X small there, and a silver also, so we're going to double rib it, which is an extra small, or you probably can't see that, or an extra fine wire. So we'll take those two pieces. You don't have to do this. You could have just a red rib, or you could have a silver rib, or you could use tinsel for a rib, whatever you want to. But I do find when you're using wires for ribs, you do like to have the extra fine or the extra small, because then it doesn't add a bunch of bulk to the fly. So the reason I backed up, just to keep the fly even, we'll tie on up here, slide it down a little, and then keep those two wires. I've got them both held together, and we'll just keep them on top of the hook and wrap it all the way down. This is rather than tying them on back here at the tail, where you then will have a lump at the tail. So we'll bring that way down here, and then yeah, that's good. And then come back again, tight wraps. We want to work on I'm not the best at this, but we want to work on a taper to the body. So we want to keep it as thin as possible down at the tail end, and then get it wider as you get up to the head and the gill. So now we're just making the thread body, so I'm just wrapping back again, and I'm going to go maybe halfway, and then I'm going to come back again, keeping my wraps together. Then I'm going to go back again, just like quarter way there, and then come back to here. I sometimes just put a little hitch in here just so your thread doesn't slide around. Okay, so now I've got my silver wire. I'm just going to stick up here. I'm going to take my red wire, and I'm going to wrap it a few times around the hook below the silver wire. Okay, not on top of each other, just kind of beside each other. And what that does is it just gives it, you might not be able to see it, it gives it a little red butt, which is supposed to be like the blood or the hemoglobin that's stuck in the chironomid's tail section. So then I'll bring it up with the silver wire, and I'll put the two wires together, and then I'll just wrap that rib up with both wires at the same time. And I'll try and keep those wires together and just space them. It's a little bit tricky keeping those wires together. They want to come apart. Just space them evenly as you go up. So I'm 3 wraps. Four wraps, 5 wraps, about 6 wraps up, and then I'm tie this off again. And just wiggle these off. Wrap that around. Now, you could just leave that. You could just sort of build your green with your olive head there and build it up onto the bead a little bit. Or you can add like just a little peacock herl head to it. Doesn't, especially on a small fly, it doesn't have to be very big. So I'm just going to tie on a little piece of peacock herl here. Just wrap it around a couple of times. Keep it small. Finish that off. And then chironomids, you always want to put some of your head cement. It's nice to have something clear. This is called hard as hull. Hard as hull cement. It works quite well. You should always put a coat of this over the body, because whether it's tinsel or thread or wire or whatever it is, the fish will chew it up in a real hurry. So it's not a bad, it's, you know, and the other thing it does is it adds a shine to it. And of course with chironomids, in order for them to rise to the surface, they're trapping air. That's why a lot of chironomids will also have, like black ones you'll do with a silver rib, because it's to make it look like that air is trapped in it. Just put a little bit on the knot. So there you go. Kind of hard to see, but it's olive colored, silver and red rib. See if we can get any closer. Oops, we got some glue. Fish that under an indicator. There you go.